Hi folks, are you excited? I'm super thrilled to bring this new video to you. This video will pack a lot of information and is going to be a long and informative video. We'll be discussing today on a lot about health and wellness topics in this video. I'm Narendra Babu, founder of healthyv.in. I'm a certified integrated health and wellness coach from California Institute of Integral Studies. I have a bunch of other certifications. This is not about me, this is about you. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to get notified of new videos when we upload it. Visit our website www.healthyv.in for more information. As I mentioned earlier, this is going to be a long video packed with a lot of information on various health and wellness topics. So make sure you grab a cup of coffee or green tea and relax with a pen and paper and make notes of the points that we discussed today, which may be of help to you. So let's get started. When it comes to health and wellness, lot of discussion happens around weight loss. Most of the topics that we talk about when it comes to health and wellness is about weight loss. So weight loss has taken away a lot of space on health and wellness. Now bring back focus on overall good health. Let's discuss today about overall health and well-being aspects and not just weight loss. What is health? According to WHO's definition of health, health is a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. What I mean by this is it is not just about your physical health. It is your mental health, your social health. It is a holistic health that we need to focus upon. That is what WHO defines health as. So now when we talk about good health has 5 major pillars. The 5 pillars of good health are 1. Good nutrition and diet, 2. Good exercise and physical activity, 3. Proper hydration, 4. Rest and mindfulness, 5. Positive mental attitude. Now lot of attention is usually paid for the 2 pillars, that is diet and exercise. They are very tangible ways and are very important to be healthy. Today we will cover all the 5 pillars together. Before we start talking about nutrition and diet, let's talk about health situation around us. Let's take for example, our ancestors lived a life of good health. They lived longer and died shorter. But today when we look at the current situation, people are living shorter and dying longer. Do you want more to understand this much more? Yes, I'm sure you would want to. See, what used to happen earlier is people used to live a healthier life. They would live a long life. Usually their lifespans would be 80, 85, 90 plus, and they would live their life very well until they die because of following healthy habits. And at the end towards the end of their life, they would suffer for a little while before they die. But now what is happening? If you look at current situation of health, people are living shorter. By the time they are 25, 30, they see onset of illnesses like diabetes, hypertension, lot of other diseases which cripple them, which make them struggle all through rest of their life by taking medications or being mindful of what they are eating, what they are doing. What happens is that they are living shorter and they are dying longer. The death comes very late, but then they are living fearful of that death. So this is what is the current situation. This is what has to wake us up. This is what we are all facing. So let us look at some of the facts that are really worrisome. See, there are diseases and there are killer diseases. When we say killer diseases, these are the diseases that eventually lead to death of a person. So this when we list down top 10 killers, let us look at American Heart Association infographic on disease and death rates. You can see, as in this list, in a country with such a good medical infrastructure like America, the number 1 killer is heart disease. It is really shocking. Heart disease is the number one killer. Look at the top 10 diseases. As you look at the list of the top 10 diseases, none of these diseases except for flu is caused by any outside factor like a bacteria or a virus. Most of it is lifestyle disorders. All these diseases are because of our lifestyles that are not tuned towards good health. Let's look at these diseases one by one later, but let's understand this. When we talk about a disease that would cause death 40 to 50 years back, people were worried, scared about diseases like cholera, malaria, typhoid, polio. These were the life-threatening diseases. But look at what is the reason for this life-threatening diseases? Where there was a cause by bacteria. These were caused by bacteria or a virus. Okay, there was an external factor that was involved. It was because of an infection from a particular bacteria or a virus. We would end up being diseased. So we would end up with a disease, and this disease would stop us being healthy and would lead us to death. So that is why we were scared of these diseases. But then comes the advent of invention of penicillin and antibiotics. It changed the world. In the way the medical system evolved post the invention of antibiotic is really tremendous. We were able to control a lot of diseases with use of antibiotics. We had a power in our hand to fight any kind of illnesses and be better off. And also for viral infections, we had a lot of antiretroviral treatments. Apart from that, we had immunization, vaccinations that blew us, it made us resistant to a lot of illnesses, which was wonderful. Our medical industry is to be given a lot of credit for the success of vaccination and immunizations and antibiotics. But what happened over the course of last 40-50 years, the diseases started changing. The kind of diseases that we started seeing started becoming different. How different? Let us understand this. Earlier, the diseases that were caused were, as I told you, were because of bacteria or a virus, and we were well equipped. All our medical field had done a lot of research and were very well equipped to fight any of the bacterial or viral infections. So we had tools to fight them. But suddenly what happened? The diseases that were killing most got replaced. As you saw in the list of the top 10 killer diseases, these diseases were not caused by any bacteria or virus. What is this then? This is nothing but lifestyle disorders. These disorders happen because our lifestyle has changed. We have evolved from a species which depended on a lot of factors to earn a meal, to now we are sure of getting our next meal. More than getting the next meal, we know we are not going to starve for some time. We have a lot of people who are watching my video would not know what a starvation would mean. Okay, so that is the situation that we are in. We don't have to now worry about the food that we are going to, whether are we getting food, going to get food for the next meal or not. When is our next meal? We are not worried about it. We are happy. We are sure of what we are getting. So what has happened over a period of time? Our mindsets have changed towards our health. See, food has become very accessible to us. So that has made us relaxed, and we don't have to work hard for the food that we are going to get as a person would. When I'm meaning working hard is the physical hard work. We are not physically active as much as our ancestors were, but we are getting enough food than what we deserve. So coming to lifestyle diseases has majorly because of lot of other causes. So let us talk about the current situation what we are facing. See, our whole health apparatus is well equipped to handle diseases caused by bacteria or virus. There is no doubt about it. However, when the killers have changed, there are no more bacteria or virus that is attacking us. The healthcare system is incapable of handling this. This is where we realize the limits of our medical advances when it is challenged with the lifestyle diseases. Now let us talk about the major aspects that leads to lifestyle diseases. Number one of them is unhealthy eating habits. The crown goes to unhealthy eating habits as the number one reason for lifestyle diseases. We are now bombarded with lot of food choices like never before. We have access to different types of food at our fingertips thanks to Swiggy, Zomato and lot of food delivery apps. You literally have food at your fingertips. You just have to summon. It is like a genie coming up with whatever you want. Your wishes are answered. Yes, you have to pay for it though, but then you no longer have to worry about your food. It is going to be delivered to you when you want it. So it is as easy as it gets. Earlier, to eat a rounded meal, a well-rounded meal, full meal, you would actually have to work for it. You have to really work hard to prepare the meal. I'm not talking about earning to have food. I'm talking about even if you have the earning, you still have to go through a rigmarole of cooking where there is so much of food to be prepared. You need to cut the vegetables, you need to stew the meats, you have to prepare everything, and then you have to cook it, and once it is cooked, then you are going to enjoy your meal. But nowadays what has happened, we have gone into habit with ultra processed foods. We have everything available to us. Our kitchen shelves are filled with ready to eat stuff, ready to eat, heat and eat kind of products. So what has happened is we are now at we don't have to worry about our cooking a meal from the scratch. Lot of processed things are available which you can pull it together and create a wholesome meal. But then what are we risking here? What we are risking is our health. What we are doing is we are not getting the required proper balanced nutrition that we are supposed to get. So now let us talk about food is always a reward. So we feel good when we eat food, don't you? Most of us eat food and we feel very good when you eat a tasty healthy food. Why does it happen? Eating food is always a reward. So anytime you are going to be rewarded for the work that you have done. But these days rewards have become so easily available. You have desserts always available in your refrigerator. Refrigerator is filled with desserts, so you don't have to worry or you don't have to work hard to earn it. You can go just pick up a spoon and pick up the ice cream tub in your refrigerator. It is as easy as that. So we are rewarding ourselves much for the work that we have not done. So that is the current situation. So in a study conducted by National Institute of Health (NIH) published in May 16, 2019 on ultra processed diet, people ended up eating 500 calories more every day than person eating holistic food, like wholesome food. What it means is a person who is dependent on ready to eat food or easily available cooked food is at a risk of eating more calories, because most of this ultra processed food comes packed with lot of carbohydrates and fats to make it tasty and more appealing. So it is very understandable that you can overeat your caloric demand. See, if your body needs a particular amount of calories to maintain itself, you are easily providing it and more by consuming ultra processed food. Whereas when you stick to natural holistic food, you are going to eat lesser amount of calories and you feel fuller and healthier because of the fiber and other nutritive ingredients that is present in wholesome food. So it is very important to understand that because of eating this ultra processed food, you are going to gain lot of weight which is not required. So with this we come to the next aspect of the reason for lifestyle diseases. is the unbalanced nutrition. The less I talk, the more important it is. As we tend to eat easier available options, our focus on eating a balanced diet has come down. It has gone out of the window, blown out of the window. Most of us are overfed and undernourished. Understand this, overfed and undernourished. We are not starving, we are not getting the nourishment. We are eating more than what calorically we require, but we are not getting the nourishment or the nutrition that is required by our body. Isn't it little concerning? Yes, most of us are exposed to this situation. Okay, as per a recent study by done in India claims that 98% of Indians are protein malnutrition. What? 98%? It is ridiculous. 98% of people are eating less protein than they should be eating every day. What is the minimum requirement? According to WHO prescribes that we eat 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per kg of body weight every day. Every day. It is every day. Okay, every day you have to consume protein. How much? As I told you, 0.8 to 1 gram per kg of body weight. So on an average person, an average Indian male weighs around 60 kgs. So that is what we need to be consuming, 60 grams of protein. Isn't it really shocking? If you go back, calculate the protein that you have eaten in a day. If you don't know how to do that, download our app and key in all the food that you have eaten, or you can download similar apps on Healthify Me, or lot of other apps are there which will help you track your nutrition. What you can do is you can key in all your the food that you have taken in your whole day, and you will come to know what is the amount of protein that you have consumed. It is really shocking. You can't believe that you are eating nowhere close to what the actual requirement is. It is very important thus to have a well balanced meal. Why am I talking about protein? Protein is the building block. Protein is the building block of our bodies. What are the where is it required? Proteins are required in a lot of cells require protein. Cells are made up of protein. Your body enzymes are produced are protein. Your hormones are protein. Your skin is protein. Your bones have protein. Protein is required everywhere. So you don't get enough of protein. Protein has a very important role to play in our body. Especially when it comes to protein, we are talking about some of the essential amino acids. There are multiple types of protein. There are many amino acids that are there in proteins. Our body can produce by itself, from the food that we intake, it can produce 13 different varieties of amino acids. But these are all non-essential amino acids. That means our body is capable of producing them. But there are some amino acids that our body cannot produce, and it has to come from external sources, food sources. So when we talk about this, these are 9 essential amino acids. These 9 essential amino acids forms a complete protein. Whenever we talk about any protein source, a complete protein source will have all the 9 amino acids in it. All 9 amino acids are available in the protein source. Then it is a complete protein. So usual complete protein that is available is egg, which is a complete protein. Meat is a complete protein. Some forms of soya has a complete protein. But overall, we don't get protein in a complete protein easily. But we have to also look at eating varieties of protein to get different amino acid groups. That is very important. You can't depend on one protein source and think that you are getting all the amino acids required. You have to eat different sources of protein. You have to include protein in your diet and ensure that you take minimum 0.8 to 1 gram per kg of body weight. That is your goal that you should focus upon. Now, as I told you about protein, that is very important. The moment you start taking enough protein, you will start noticing significant difference in your overall well-being. You start becoming healthier, you start feeling energetic, you start recovering faster. In case of any illness, you recover faster. In case of any fall or injury, you recover faster. So that is the power of protein. Protein helps you recover faster. That is why it is important to take protein every day. And again, we are talking about macronutrients. It is so unbalanced that we eat today. As I told you about protein, there is also another major macronutrients that is important in our food, which is overly consumed. It is carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are necessary for our energy. It is what gives us energy to do daily activities. But then we are overdoing carbohydrates. Whatever we eat has carbohydrates. Okay, whatever we think that we are eating is healthy do contain carbohydrates. Even protein, a lot of protein sources, what we think are protein rich sources, also are equally rich in carbohydrates. For example, we think that like dal and cereals have more protein in them. Okay, pulses have more protein in them, but then more than protein that they contain significantly higher amounts of carbs also. So it is not a protein source, it is a balanced source, you can say. It has protein, it has carbohydrates, rather than just pure carbohydrates like rice and wheat, which are majorly carbohydrate sources. Whereas when you look at pulses, these are also having significant protein coming in, but it is not completely a protein source. So it is very important to understand this aspect. Carbohydrates are coming to us in good quantities, so we have to balance it out and ensure that our nutrition balance is maintained by taking enough protein along. Apart from carbohydrates and protein, the next important aspect is the fats. Okay, fats are also very important. Our body needs fats. We need good fats. Our body is also capable of forming its own fat. Okay, yes, from the carbohydrates that we eat, we can convert those carbohydrates into fat. There is liver does lot of manufacturing of lot of different types of cholesterol in our body, which is needed for our bodily functions. But we also have to consume good fats and good quality fats. But what is happening is we overeat unhealthy fats. There is something called as omega-3s and omega-6 combination. Both are required by our body. Omega-3 and omega-6 are required in a ratio of 1:4. Okay, whereas now what we are consuming is, for every 1 part of omega-3 we are consuming more than 30-40 parts of omega-6, which is really concerning. We have to bring back our consumption of omega-6 lesser and increase our omega-3s more. What are the sources of omega-3? Omega-3 sources are fish, fat from fish, and nuts, good nuts, and some seeds. So these are the good sources of omega-3. And coming to another most neglected part, especially when you are focused on eating unprocessed when you are focused on eating ultra processed foods, is the fiber content. Fiber is a very complex form of a carbohydrate. Okay, it's a very hard carbohydrate, which is though it is a carbohydrate, is very important in our food. Why? There are two types of fibers available. One is soluble fiber, another is insoluble fiber. Soluble fiber gets dissolved in the water and gets processed through along with other foods. It helps in slowing down your digestion of carbs. Overall, carbs are digested very fast. Generally, if you are eating simple carbs, it gets digested very fast and converted into glucose and pushed into bloodstream. But when you take fiber rich in soluble fiber, this is going to act as a dampener for burning the carbs. So you are going to burn the carbs slower because of the fiber in it. So it will slowly get absorbed and get converted into sugar and sent into your bloodstream. So you have a slow and steady flow of glucose in your body instead of rushing off one huge amount of glucose. That is very important part how the carbs work. Not only that, this carbs also fiber, this fiber also holds on to lot of water. It holds on to the water in your digested after the digestion, so that you excrete the stools without any problem. It maintains the consistency of your bowel movement. And also the insoluble fiber adds the bulk. It adds the bulk to your digestive tract. So this bulk is like cleansing your colon. It is going to flush out all the toxins and clean up your intestines for next next meal to come and get absorbed properly. It is very important. So we talked about fiber and the macronutrients that we are supposed to have. There are lot of micronutrients that are that needs to be given to our body. Why are we talking about micronutrients? Micronutrients are those small nutrients which are important in our body, but it needs to be taken in smaller quantities. How do we get it? Is again through food. It has to be consumed through lot of vegetables and fruits. According to WHO, an average adult urban adult needs around 8 to 10 servings of different fruits and vegetables every day. When I say different fruits, different colors, there are 5 important colors that you need to make note of: white, green, orange, yellow and blue or purple. So these are the 5 colors that are going to be part of your everyday diet. If you are consuming fruits and vegetables from these colors, you are going to get all the required nutrition. But most of us do not consume 8 to 10 servings in a week time. So it is very important that we start eating good amount of fruits and vegetables every day in our diet. Okay, so this is where we are currently at. How do we manage to bridge this gap? Is by understanding what the diet is, talking to a nutritionist, talking to a nutritionist about how to plan a well balanced diet and following it, so that you don't suffer from any of these deficiencies. Deficiencies usually lead to diseases. That is very important to note. So we can avoid deficiencies by planning our proper meal and maybe bridging your requirements. If there are already deficiencies, bridging it with some kind of a nutrition supplements which will help you become healthy. So now next important aspect that I really love to address is lack of antioxidants in our food. Lot of processed food means lack of fresh ingredients and thus lacking in antioxidants. We are bombarded with lot of oxidative stress. What is oxidative stress? This is a stress caused on your system, body, because of oxygen usage. Surprised? I was surprised when I read about it. Why are we talking? Oxygen is life-giving. Why does it affect us? What is oxidative stress? So many questions started popping in. So let us delve deeper into that. This generation especially is exposed to lot of oxidative stresses. What are these oxidative stresses? These come in forms of air pollution, water pollution, food pollution and radiation and a lot more. As we are eating less of antioxidant rich foods, our bodies are under constant attack from something called as free radicals. What are free radicals? Free radicals are those oxygen atoms that we breathe in that gets broken down in the process, becomes an atom of oxygen with one less electron. Usually oxygen is a very well stable gas, but then when there is one less electron in the oxygen molecule, it starts becoming unstable. It becomes very reactive. So this is what is called as free radical. These are highly reactive and free radicals are formed in our body regularly, but they are neutralized by antioxidants what we consume through food. So there is always we don't have to worry about it. if you are taking proper antioxidants. However, we are producing more free radicals due to the pollution that surrounds us, the pesticides and chemicals used to grow our food, and chemicals added to the processed foods that we consume, and lot of radiation that we are exposed to in terms of mobile phone, mobile tower radiation, microwave radiations. There are a lot of radiations that we are exposed to continuously, which also causes this free radical increase. Okay, so when we are however, due to lack of intake of antioxidants in the form of eating fresh fruits and vegetables, we are letting these free radicals run rampage in our body. What I mean by this, whenever there is a free radical that is running around creating havoc, it attaches to other healthy cells in your body, healthy atoms, and starts taking another electron from those healthy cells, because of which those cells get affected. So it is very risky to let it run rampage like this. Whichever organ or tissue that it attacks will degenerate or malfunction. That is why lot of times wherever there is a excess amount of free radical damage, that organ or that tissue starts decomposing or becoming useless. Okay, so how do we avoid it is by taking good amount of antioxidant. Antioxidants are nothing but lot of good vitamins and minerals, some minerals which help in donating extra ions, extra electrons to the free radical. So it is very important to load our body with enough antioxidants so that we reduce the effect of free radical damage happening in our body. So there are different kind of free radicals happening in different places. There is different damage that is happening on your skin because it is exposed to lot of pollution, lot of radiation, all that, because that is your first barrier. It is getting affected. But to fight there, we need a specific antioxidant, which is vitamin E, which is going to help protect your skin. Vitamin A is something that is very important when it comes to eyes. Eyes also take in lot of radiation, lot of light goes in, lot of effect happen. So vitamin A or or a carotene, okay, is required to protect yourself from that damage. And next important aspect is your other organs, that where your blood flows. Wherever your blood is flowing, it is taking an antioxidant to those places. That antioxidant should be vitamin C. Vitamin C is a water soluble and very easily used by our body in protecting itself in lot of other internal organs. So vitamin C is important. So basically we call A's vitamins, which are very important antioxidant. A, C, E and S. S is for selenium, which is a mineral. This also again protects you from lot of oxidative stress and free radical damage. So how do we take these supplements is through food. Focus on eating foods that are rich in these vitamins A, C, E and S. So when you don't get it through your food, you have to focus on getting it through some kind of an organic, natural food based supplements, or what we can say plant based, which is coming from plants. So those kind of supplements are healthier way of taking this vitamins. Next important aspect and needs lot of attention is lack of regular physical activity. With the advent of new gadgets and machines, every now and then we have a new gadget and machine that is going to make our life easier. Is it really making our lives easier? I don't think so. It is making it complicated. The time that we save, we don't know where we are spending. We are spending it in front of a computer or on a TV or with our mobiles. I don't know why we would need so much time. Okay, we have become very inactive. Okay, on an average, less than 5% of urban adults participate in a 30 minutes of physical activity every day. Even kids of this generation are spending more time on their gadgets while spending lesser time being active on their feet. we are in an epidemic of inactivity. You know, sitting for 2 hours, just 2 hours continuously is worse than smoking 8 cigarettes. Wonder, is it shocking? It was shocking when I read it. Yes, sitting for 2 hours continuously without physical activity is equal to the same damage as caused by smoking 8 cigarettes. This is really concerning. It is very important to understand that our bodies are made for activity. Our body is designed in a way that it has to work. It has to work to be in a better shape. Okay, the more you sit, the more damage you are causing to your body. Okay, our bodies are made for hard work, but our minds seek luxury and laziness. It is not just about exercising an hour every day. Forget about hour. A lot of people don't even exercise for 30 minutes, as we heard. 95% of people do not even exercise for 30 minutes a day, which is a really shocking thing. We should start exercising more focusedly, at least for 1 hour. 1 hour is just 5% of your day. 5% of your entire day you have to spend just to keep yourself healthy, which is very less. You are just spending 5% of your day on your health. If you do that, you are going to live healthier for longer. That is very important for us to understand. But do you think 1 hour of physical activity once a day, either in morning or in the evening, is going to offset the number of hours that you are sitting in front of your computer? No, it doesn't. You work out for 1 hour and sit in front of a computer for 12-14 hours. This is not going to work. We are in an epidemic of sitting. Okay, you sit in front of computer, you sit in your office, you sit in your car, your car takes you while you are seated to your workplace, and you are sitting at your workplace for 8 to 10 hours, and again take a car, come back home sitting, and then once you come back home, you are again sitting on a couch and watching TV, and you are sitting on your dining table having your dinner, and then you go and lie down on the bed. Where are you standing? Where are you working? Where are you walking? This is not happening. This is not the right way to live your life. Your body is made for hard work. So 1 hour of exercise is very important. But at the same time, getting regular generalized physical activity is also equally important. When I talk about physical activity, it need not be a very strenuous kind of physical activity. What I am saying is, do not sit idle for long hours. Use the wristband, the fitness bands that you get. These are really amazing. This can track your activity, how much you have walked. Not only that, it can also remind you of your inactivity. If you are sitting for too long, it can prompt you to get up from your place. This is a very important setting that you need to do on your fitness bands immediately. Set every hour alarm for inactivity. 1 hour you sit inactive, it should beep you to get up and take a walk. Take a walk of 30 to 50 steps and come back, and you can continue with your work. This would also make blood flow through your system, and it will improve your work productivity. If you are not doing that, you are not actually reducing your productivity. Once you get up, there is a lot of blood flow that happens throughout your body, and fresh blood comes to your mind. So your mind works better and you will be more productive at your work. So take a break every hour without fail. So what I usually suggest my clients is 1 hour of physical activity in the morning, and rest of the day try to get 5,000 steps of activity. That is minimum required for you to keep yourself healthy and continue to have a good health. That is what I would say to get rid of this laziness of sitting continuously for long hours. And next important aspect is stress and rest. Okay, they almost contain same letters, stress, rest. Okay, but they are opposite to each other. Okay, added to all the above things that we discussed till now, this generation is always running behind something or the other and are constantly under stress. Do you agree? You are always chasing a goal, you are always running for something, and you are always stressed. This is what our conditions are. Our bodies are bombarded with lot of stress hormone cortisol throughout the day. What is this stress hormone cortisol? You want to understand about it? Cortisol is a hormone that is very essential for our what we call our ability to live so long, our continuation of humanity for such a long time is because of this hormone. I would say this hormone gives you ability to protect yourself. Are you confused? I'm talking about stress hormone and I'm talking that it is going to protect you. Hear me out. Stress is caused and cortisol is released in your body. Cortisol makes your body understand that you are under stress, you are at a risk of life. Usually what used to happen when we were in the gatherer hunter times, where we were in the forest hunting for our food or gathering for our food, what used to happen is there was always a threat of another predator attacking us. Our bodies were prepared to sense these movements, sense this if it senses a movement in a bush, it would assume the worst. It would assume that there is a beast coming to eat me. So it would come into ultra responsive mode and it is in a mode of fight or flight. Okay, what I mean by fight or flight, it is ready to either attack, fight with the predator that is coming to attack us or run away from there. Okay, it is what makes this cortisol very important. But what has happened, why it is important, let me explain you. Cortisol makes your blood flow to your muscles and puts all other processes like digestion, like other things on pause. Your focus is now on your survival. So you are in survival mode. So that is what the cortisol does. But what is happening is we are all under assumed risk of life. We all think that we are always at risk. Our bodies are tuned to identify risk and we are identifying risk everywhere and there is no end to it. See, when you know that there is no tiger trying to hunt you down, you are relaxed, you don't produce any cortisol. But you don't have that kind of a situation here. We are not attacked by any predators, we are safe actually in that manner. But we are always at we are scared that we may risk our jobs. We don't know we will continue to be in our jobs for how long. So it is always a risk that we are fighting. Next important, we are worried about our relationships. We are not confident about how our relationships are going to continue. We are always under stress about our financial situation or something else, or you are always stressed when you are driving, you are always stressed when you are taking some exams. So you are at various situations that gives you a lot of stress, and lot of stress hormone is in your body, and there is no situation where you are away from it. You cannot stop the production of cortisol in your body. That is why we are all bombarded with so much stress. We are really losing out a lot of other parts of our life. This is very important to understand. So, to control stress is to become healthy. If you understand this, you will focus more on stress control as you focus on your diet and exercise to be healthy. Okay. One more important aspect is we are not resting enough. Cortisol also comes down when you are sleeping. When there is no risk, nothing to worry, you are sleeping well, you are also getting the cortisol down. Unfortunately, the technology and gadgets that we are using are becoming very intrusive, to the extent that almost all people that I know go to their bed with mobiles next to their head, in the, either under their pillow or nearby they have their mobile phones. The last thing that they see is their mobile phone screen before they go fall asleep. and the morning they wake up, they are looking at the mobile screen. What is happening? This is wrong. So we are stressing ourselves, and we are not letting our bodies to get into relaxation mode in the right way. That is what is very important. So what I would suggest, it is important to have a relaxation period while you go to rest. Remove all the gadgets around you, turn them off 1 hour before bedtime. Practice mindfulness meditation for at least 30 minutes every night before going to bed. Turn off lights and let the melatonin form and put you into a relaxing sleep. Sleep well and get up with lot of vigor and energy for the next morning. Sleep is very important. This is the time where our body goes through its repair mechanism. The better you get your 6 to 8 hours of sleep, better you are energized by the morning. And also the damage that you have done to your body, the amount of cortisol that has released, the amount of free radical damage, all those damages get repaired while you are sleeping, which is very important aspect. Okay, so sleep is very important for you. 6 to 8 hours of sleep per day is what you need to protect yourself with. This is your basic right. Okay, don't for whatever reason, do not give it up. 6 to 8 hours of sleep is your birthright. Next important aspect is hydration. Actually, hydration need not be a separate pillar by itself, but I do keep hydration as a major pillar instead of combining it with nutrition and diet, is because it is most neglected also. Why is it neglected? Earlier, what used to happen, people had very active lifestyle where they would be moving around a lot, they would be sweating a lot, they would be in the sun a lot. All these factors which would make them realize that they are thirsty. The body, the water would, they perspire out and they start feeling thirsty, and they would drink a lot of water. The water consumption has fallen down so significantly that most of the people do not even consume 1 to 1.5 liters of water every day. It is really concerning. It is very important for each of us to consume 2 to 3 liters of water every day. What is happening is because, see, we all are not exposed to elements as the previous generations was. We sit in air conditioned offices and we are at homes which do not expose us to the harsh situations outside. What is happening is you never feel the need of water. You don't feel thirsty enough, but your body needs water. Our bodies are made up of 60% of our body is made up of water, which is the most important thing for us to consume. Next to oxygen, water is the most important thing for our lively life. Okay, to have a healthy life, you need to consume water every day in proper quantity. Though you are not feeling thirsty because you are sitting in a air conditioned office, doesn't mean your body does not require the water that it should consume. It doesn't prompt you to do that. So for you to be healthy, what I would suggest is fill 2 to 3 liters of water in bottles, keep it handy and sip it when you are at your work desk. You may not I would also suggest you to have an app which reminds you of drinking water. There is an app for reminders to drink water. So track your water intake. Drink 2 to 3 liters of water every day. It will make you more healthier and you will be more productive when you are hydrated well. Drinking water, enough water, promotes proper detoxification and hydration of all our organs. So it is very important to drink water. Less more I want to stress really more on this aspect. Drink a lot of water and keep yourself hydrated. So we have spoken about issues that why we are ending up in lifestyle disorders. So how do we take care of our health to be not worrying about these lifestyle diseases? So how do we have good health? Some pointers for you. I'm sure like you would be interested to make note of these points. It would help you. Consume 55 to 60 grams of protein every day. This is a very important aspect. As we discussed, protein forms plays a very important role in our everyday nutrition intake. It is important to have 55 to 60 grams of protein every day. Eat foods rich in vitamins and minerals. Consume 8 to 10 servings of different colors of fruits and vegetables. What I mean is, you have to focus on all the 5 colors. It is important. Consume antioxidant rich food, especially ACEs. ACEs are vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E and vitamin S. When we talk about vitamins, there are 2 types of vitamins. There are water soluble vitamins, there are fat soluble vitamins. Water soluble vitamins are easy to absorb and also are excreted very fast. Okay, but fat soluble are tough to absorb, and it can be absorbed only with good amount of good fats. Okay, it is very important thus to take good fats like omega-3. What are the sources of good sources of omega-3? Are seeds like flaxseed, walnuts, almonds, and fishes like anchovy and salmon, mackerel. So these are the good fishes that give you omega-3. And next important aspect is reduce intake of ultra processed food. Stop buying these processed foods out of the shelves of supermarkets. They are packed and in such attractive containers and also promise to taste great, but it is going to hurt you in long run. So avoid ultra processed foods for all it's worth. Don't eat it. Eat more local and eat what is natural and what is in season. You have to understand this. Eat the fruits that are locally available. You are not required to eat exotic fruits. You don't need exotic fruits to be healthy. Understand? You don't have to eat a kiwi or a dragon fruit or an avocado to be healthy. Okay, they are definitely healthy fruits, but then eat what is grown locally. Nagpur oranges, Shimla apples, and fruits like mangoes that are grown locally are so much. Guavas, oranges, sweet lemons, all these things are watermelon. These are the fruits that are grown locally and are seasonal. Don't eat a fruit that is not available in the season. Okay, avoid such fruits which are grown in conditioned environment, so that because these do not get the right nutrition that a fruit should have. It will not always have. So it is important to eat fruits that are in season. Follow that seasonal fruits and eat them locally grown closest to you. That is the best form of fruit that you would eat. There is no use eating an apple that is imported from Washington, where it is stored in cold freezers and brought here, waxed, coated, and make it look bright red, but it is of no use because lot of nutrition is lost. It is important for you to eat fruits that are grown locally. That is very important. There are India is a country. There are so many varieties of fruits. There are so many varieties of berries. There are so many varieties of vegetables that are available. You can really eat local and be satisfied and healthy. Next, eat multiple meals. Why I am talking about multiple meals? See, whatever is all said and done, we eat foods rich in carbohydrates. We eat carbohydrate rich food, and carbohydrates are easy to digest. As I told you, you have to eat proper balance where there is enough protein, carbohydrate, fiber and good fats. So all this put together makes a balanced nutrition. But still, when you eat 1 or 2 meals in a larger quantity, what happens? Lot of this food gets digested in a period of time, and all the energy is the glucose that is derived from these foods are pushed into your bloodstream. The more sugar enters in your bloodstream, your body produces a lot of insulin to manage it. The more insulin is produced, the more of glucose gets converted to fat and is stored away as fat in your body. You are going to increase your fat stores. but you are again going to feel lethargic or tired because there is not enough energy that is available for you to use. If you start eating smaller regular meals, what I mean by is, instead of eating one or two major meals in a day, split it down into 5 meals, that is 3 meals and 2 snacks, 2 to 3 snacks, 5 to 6 meals every day. That will keep your quantities lower and your body will produce only enough insulin, will not require to produce more insulin, because your body is going to use a limited amount of sugar that is being produced. That sugar will continue to energize you for a period of time, and then there is again another meal coming in that will energize you for next few hours. So that way you are going to have a balanced flow of glucose into your blood, and you are always energized, and you are not storing fat at all. So this helps you also lose weight and also be healthier. Next, exercise for an hour every day and keep moving throughout the day. We discussed this. Exercise for 1 hour every day plus 5000 steps of activity in the rest of the day. This is how you keep yourself active. And play, for God's sake, play some sports. Be a sporty individual. You need not be an athlete or a sportsman, but you bring sports to your life. Bring playtime to your life. It is very important. When you are doing physical activity, but you are enjoying the process. Not all of us enjoy the process of exercising in a gym or running on a treadmill. This would not energize us. We will not enjoy this process. But when you play a game, like for example, if you are a cricketer, or if you are playing football or basketball or tennis or badminton, you are enjoying the process of playing, but your body is getting physically active, and it is giving you lot of health benefits, while it is giving you lot of happiness. When you are happy, happy hormones flowing. Happy hormones are a complete dampener for your stress hormone. So it is a natural way of ridding your body of the cortisol that you are producing. And when you are playing, your mind is off the stresses of your life. That is why it is important to make play a part of your life, games a part of your life. Enjoy your sports, enjoy your games. It may not be every day. You can do it twice a week or at least once a week. Every Sunday, take out your cricket bat and go, or you pull out your tennis racket and go to play tennis. You will enjoy the time that you are spending. Make it with your friends or family and enjoy the time spent with them. Next important aspect is drinking enough fluids or water. Drink minimum 2 to 3 liters of water every day. I have already stressed enough on this, so ensure that you get 2 to 3 liters of intake of water every day. Practice mindfulness meditation. It is very important. Meditation is something that is almost a really needed thing. As much as exercise is needed for your body to stay healthy, for your mind to remain calm and healthy, meditation is very important. So practice mindfulness meditation or any kind of meditation that appeals to you. This meditation can be as simple as following your breath, closing your eyes, relaxing, and following your normal breathing process. For just notice how you breathe, and that should be enough to relax you. But there are other forms of meditation that are aided meditations. I use an app called Isha Meditation, which will help me in a guided meditation, and it is really powerful. You can choose your own meditation tools that are available. Nowadays there are apps. Use your technology to benefit you, not to harm you. Next important point is 6 to 8 hours of sleep every day. This is your right, your birthright. You have to grab it and use it. Don't let yourself be deprived of 6 to 8 hours sleep. Keep a focus on health. It is very important that your mindset is towards health. You are not thinking about illness. You are thinking about how to be healthy. What am I eating today? What is on my plate? Be mindful of what you are putting on your plate, what you are packing for your lunch, what are you eating. Be mindful of what exercise you are doing, what is the association that you are in. Are you with people who are so careless about their health? You will also start becoming like that. Make friends who are having a healthy lifestyle. You will also start building those habits. Avoid sickness. Avoiding sickness is better than treating a sickness. Prevention is better than cure. So it is very important to understand that we have to follow these health habits to be always healthy and avoid sickness. I'm sure you have a doubt I have to go for gym, I have to pay gym fees, I have to invest on eating good healthy food which is expensive, I have to eat organic food, I have to eat well balanced diet. All these things are going to cost you money. Yes, it is going to cost you money, but this is a a very good investment on yourself. This is what is required by you to avoid the expenses that you would incur because of the sickness. Okay, the whole industry of sickness, what we call as healthcare industry, is actually a sickness industry. Okay, when I talk about this, I'm really, lot of people, when you think about health, the first thing they think about is a hospital. No, wrong. Hospital is for sickness. Your medical care, whole medical care is to treat sickness. Understand this. It is a sickness industry. It is not a wellness industry. It is a health care industry is about sickness. It is to treat the sick and make them better. But wellness is to for people who are healthy to remain healthy or get towards healthier, becoming healthier than getting towards sickness. So wellness is a different has a different approach towards health, and healthcare industry or a sickness industry has a different approach. Let us understand the approach that wellness industry takes. Wellness industry is about prevention. We don't want you to suffer the sickness. So you lead in your life following these wellness principles so that you are healthy and avoid sickness. So your health is not, understand, finally I want you to understand this. Your health is not just about you. Your health affects your family's well-being. So care for yourself to care for your family. It is very important to understand this. One person in a family, if he is sick, whole family is dragged into that. Okay, I'm speaking this from my personal experience. My family went through a turmoil when my father suffered complications of his diabetes. Okay, it is very important that we remain healthy and we don't become a burden on our families. What I mean by is, see, our families love us and they want to take care of us even if we are not well. But it is our duty to remain healthy and be there for them, not expecting them to treat us. I'm sure I'm getting onto a different aspect, but focus on your health. You are the important aspect. Your health is very important. You take care of eating healthy, you take care of physical exercise, you take care of your meditation, you take care of your eating right, eating healthy, you take care of everything, sleeping well, and you are going to see that your family also is following the same. So you start with you and spread it to your family and spread it to your community. Healthy living is not a lonely journey. It cannot. It can be a very satisfying family journey towards wellness. I have seen a lot of families who associated with us. We work on the concept that we look for a person who comes to us to become healthy and their families to join them on their health journey and the community around them to join their health journey. So each of us have the power to be a health influencer. Let us all work towards becoming a health influencer and start following the health mantras that we discussed in today's video. I'm sure this is exciting and you saw lot of points that we discussed today are going to be helpful in your daily routine, and wish you all a great healthy life ahead. Good night, and we'll catch up on your next video soon. subscribe and share this video with all the people whom you love. Thank you.